Welcome to this video about the New York State Education Department Computer Science and Digital Fluency Standards for grades 4 through 6. On your screen and in your slide deck, there is a link at the bottom that will take you out to the State Ed website with all of the standards. Now, cybersecurity is a concept area that is incredibly important anytime we use technology with our students. We want to make sure that they understand what all the technology around them actually does and how they can protect themselves. Cybersecurity is broken down into three sub-concept areas. The first one being risk. Risk is talking about your vulnerability, knowing that you need to protect your data and thinking about what you should do anytime you're using technology to lower that risk. Moving right into safeguards, that's where we're thinking about what we can actually do to protect that data that we know we might have some risk against when we're using technology. Thinking about how we can create some sort of digital security. And then finally, we have response. And this is where we're thinking about when a security breach happens, what are you doing to improve your security, and what are you doing to make sure to protect your data as much as you can. On your screen on the far left, you have the State Ed website or the State Ed examples for cybersecurity that were put together by educators across the state. In the center, you have the Wakelet collection of resources, but we're going to click the one on the far right or anywhere on the page, and it's going to take you out to the activity books. Since this is for grade band 4 through 6, we're going to take that center book. We're going to click Read Now. We're going to click the arrow. And then we're going to click on the link to get us to cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity really talks about our risks, safeguards, and response again. There's only 5 standards in this area, so it's a small area, even though it's an important topic. The first one in risks is explain why different types of information might need to be protected. So here you can have your students think about the data that they want to make sure that they're protecting. You can also start at this age talking about identity theft, cyberbullying, political influence, ransom attacks, anything that could happen online. There's some great resources for you to help you understand and for your students to understand what we're talking about here. And then we move on to the next one within the cybersecurity, which is safeguards, number 2, which is describe common safeguards for protecting personal information. So here the students could create a guide, or they could help others, maybe the younger students, understand why you want to use strong passwords and what strong passwords are. There's some great resources for you for some activities for your classroom. Moving on to safeguard number 3, we're talking about describing the trade-offs between allowing information to be public versus private. So here we're really thinking about the pros and cons. So it could be a sorting activity or a compare and contrast. We're thinking about what clickbait is, and we're thinking about how to protect ourselves from online schemes and scams. Great resource is the Culture of Cybersecurity. Lots of free, great resources there for you. And some other great resources are also listed in this book. The next one under safeguards is model and explain the purpose of simple cryptographic methods. And cryptographic really is your code. So this might be something that you're using a cipher or Breakout EDU, or you might be talking about in 6th grade. I taught 6th grade. I would teach about Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar was one of the first to create code, so we could talk about the Caesar shift, anything that's going to help your students decode a message. And then finally, our last one that we have within this area happens to be under response, and this is explain suspicious activity of applications and devices. So you could have your students look at sample email messages and describe what might make it look kind of suspicious. Students love to talk about being sus, right? So you can have your students think about spam versus what is actual malicious or suspicious behavior. So lots of resources in this book for you to take a look at for your grade band. So take some time and go through them. You might see different ones than you see on this video because we're constantly adding to these collections.